Delighted to be joined by Andrew Lord, Cardiff Devils player head coach. And Andrew, the last time at least we spoke to you midweek, it was a little while ago. And you've been on a bit of a tear since then. Some away wins, big win in the Cup against Coventry, wins here against Edinburgh, away against Braehead as well. And just now you've had perhaps time to step away from those games a little bit and take things in. What's been the big sort of turnaround within the group that have helped with those wins?
Yeah, it's nice not to get blackballed this week by you guys, but no, it's been a good turnaround. We worked through a few things there. We just didn't have our consistency in those prior 3 home games. I felt our tempo we lacked a lot of pace. Our puck management was really poor, and we went to Sheffield, and we probably had arguably our best game of the year, if not our best game, and that was through puck management. It was playing with pace. Our turnovers were way down. We were getting more pucks to the net. We followed that up with a very good performance in Braehead, particularly that second period. I thought Edinburgh was a good game overall, other than maybe the first few minutes. Coventry, we actually slipped off, I think. I thought our pace dipped down again. Turnovers started to creep in that smaller arena. But I loved our will to win in that third period, and it was a phenomenal win to scrape through, and it was a big one that hopefully will set us up here in the Challenge Cup.
3 away wins in that group of 4 there. What does it mean to your group of guys that early in the season, and you as a head coach, that you're able to go away and win these big games against these big clubs early season?
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, I've never really looked too much at home or away. I'm a big believer in just approaching a game as a game. You should be able to win anywhere. It's the same setup for both teams. And that being said, I think it does show a lot of confidence. Team guys going in. Maybe the one big thing is not hitting the panic button sometimes. I know in the last 2 years there'd be times in third periods in places like Sheffield, we may have even clawed out a win, but it was pretty touch and go the last 10, 12 minutes there. And I feel like the last few road performances where we've won, fairly handily have been very solid down the stretch, and we've closed the games out well.
Just finally talking about those road performances, of course, against Coventry, really emotional win there, win you needed in the Cup as well. But to tie the game late on with the man advantage here and then go ahead and win it in overtime. Again, just what that does for your team to know, and you've done that before in Coventry this season as well, in other games, what that does for your team to know that you have it in the tank to be able to do that and pull it out of the bag.
Yeah, it's huge. We talked about that. Those type of games it's gonna go like that all year. We know what it's like coming down the stretch. I don't think anyone's just gonna run away with any titles this year. It's always gonna be those nail biters, which is exciting for the fan bases and hard for me as a coach. But at the end of the day, after all the systems, after all the other work we put in, the will to win can really lift you through. And it's kind of an unexplainable thing in sports, just that desire. You saw it in the Welsh football there a little while back in the summertime, and it can really carry a team. And I felt Sunday that was pretty much the main reason why we won that game.
Something that those wins have coincided with has been your return to the ice as well through the injury to Scott Hoffman, but it's been noticeable, I think, to everybody, the leadership that you've shown on the ice. And could you just talk a little bit about that adjustment, going back into the team and playing that way, and perhaps some of those personal goals you had coming back into the lineup to help the team?
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I think I agree with things you're saying, but at the same time, I think it's also the team goes. It's kind of an ebb and flow thing throughout the season, and I may have came in at the right time when we needed a little bit of a spark, and I feel I would never ask anyone to do anything that I don't do myself, and I try to lead by example that way. And I think sometimes it's just nice to see a coach or a leader do that, where most guys are used to having a coach that always just talks the entire year, and not saying that they don't do what they preach or they didn't do, or they may have done it back when they played, but they're not really able to just go out and show it, right? And I really pride myself on that. I also, I won't lie to you, I'm a little bit motivated. People feel that I can't do both roles, and I feel I can. I think at the end of the day, I just want this team to win, and whatever's needed for that to happen, I'll take it on board. So I'm sure we'll see both ways, me on the bench again and me playing again throughout the season.
Just going to go off piece slightly here. With regards to the issue of enforcers, we had the Ice Guardians premiere in Cardiff this week, and you yourself were involved in an altercation up in Coventry with a player that perhaps there's a few people might like to get into that position that you did, but it's taken a little while. And I asked the question of the panel there last night with regards to the Instigator Rule, whether that might have taken longer to happen through the league, that players like that get dealt with in that way. Is that, I'm just interested in your views on that, particularly in relation to the Instigator Rule.
It's a real tough one. Let's face it, the rules have changed the last few years. They're trying to obviously take fighting out of the game, and it makes it really tough. The format in our league also makes it even tougher. It makes it tougher for that and also for development of young players, because every game is like a Game 7. The league title, 2 points this time of year is the same as it is in March. So he can't be taking dumb penalties, and even for myself to get kicked out of the game there, part of me was fine with it, because I thought about Hudson getting hit low last year. I thought about Salters getting suckered from the bench. I thought about Bordelot getting grabbed this year from the bench, and the list goes on and on with that particular player. But at the same time, you have to be careful, because me getting kicked out of a game as a player and a coach doesn't help our organization, and it's a tough one. It's a very slippery line, and I'm sure we've all would have liked to address it a little bit earlier. It is what it is, and it's kind of touching on both points, hopefully.
No, thanks for your honesty in that answer. You talk about points being important. This weekend is another huge weekend, and of course, with the format of this league, every weekend really is. First of all, just talking about Manchester, that's a rink where you've been up to. Of course, you're familiar with the surroundings, but a loss there in the cup early season. They have a very good power play at home. You have an exceptional penalty kill, leading the league at the moment of the Devils in that department, as you do in power play as well. Just some of the challenges you're going to face up in Manchester, and perhaps some of the changes you look to make to combat that team.
Yeah, we need to be much better. We dominated puck possession last time we were up there, but at the end of the day, we weren't direct enough. We didn't get enough traffic to the net. We didn't get enough bodies to the net. And I think particularly the first 10 minutes, we weren't adjusted to that smaller ice surface. And I know that's a physical thing, just getting used to it, but I think overall it's got to be a mental thing, and we need to be mentally switched on here. We need to be willing to make those simple, effective hockey plays, and that's something we've been preaching anyway, so I think it's an extra good test for us with where we're at in our game. But yeah, we got to go in there, a really selfless performance as a team. It can't be a sexy game by any means. It's got to be back to how we used to play at the BBT there, and if we do that, we'll have a very good chance of success.
Sunday night, of course, you play the Belfast Giants here, 6 p.m. face-off, and that's a club you've gone out to the SSE Arena and got a big win out there away, and you'll be looking to continue that form against them on home ice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they're a very tough team. 2 capable goaltenders. Their defense, big, mobile. They're going to play us very tough. They have high-end forwards. They have a well-rounded forward base. I think when you look at guys like Blair Riley that can play a power forward game, and then you look down, at a guy like Chris Higgins that plays a very, up-tempo puck possession game, and they're very well balanced. They're well coached, and they're very, very experienced, I think, above all else. So it's going to be a tough test, and I know that'll be a fun one for both sides. I
know you always preach sort of one game at a time, and the focus is on the next game. But that's a club perhaps in terms of the league championship that's going to be right there alongside the Cardiff Devils in challenging for that. Do you look at that season series at all and think, well, if we can get an edge in that series, that's going to put us in a good position in relation to that team?
No, not at all. I couldn't even tell you what we are series-wise or any of that. Literally, Manchester right now, we can't overlook them. They have some very good players there. They have a D-core that can really skate, and we're going to need to be ready, and then we'll switch over to Belfast, and we'll also be ready for them.
I've got to ask you about 2 very special occasions last week. First of all, Saturday night against Edinburgh Capitals, but the Brad Roth jersey retirement. It was a fun night as well, and just from your perspective, how was that, and just some words on Roth?
Sellout against Edinburgh. What more it can be said? I don't know if I've seen that since I've been here in 4 years, and that was a phenomenal night. I was really happy for him. That guy should be a movie star, honestly. He's just charismatic. He's fun. He's such a people person. You know, I barely know the guy, and he's coming right up to me the other day and making small talk. And he's a great person. He was a great player. And that little highlight reel was fun to watch too. I know that got everyone going. And then obviously the Scott Matska thing. You know, you can't say much about that either. Phenomenal job by everyone involved. That amount of money raised is something I've never really seen before in minor league sports. Another very great crowd, and you know, it was tough. It definitely, I know it choked myself up and everyone involved to kind of see what they've gone through, but at the same time, feel a lot of pride that, you know, we're all a part of something that's going to help that family out.
Yeah, just on that note, everything from the work that was put into that evening, the great work from everyone, the contributions, big or small, that everyone made. As somebody who's been in Cardiff now a few years and come into Cardiff and is the head coach of the hockey club here, what does that mean to you to see that kind of reaction from the fans, but everyone that put all the effort into that evening as well?
Yeah. I can't take much credit for it, to be honest. It definitely, you know, I had a very small part to do with that. There was a lot of others that had a big part and a lot of work ethic towards it. But I think, honestly, that's probably the number one reason why I'm here, to see that pride in and amongst a community and a hockey organization. It's incredible. And for people around here, maybe I don't know if they take it for granted, but if they've been to any other places around the world, it's not always like that. And I've been in other places where it's not like that at all, not even close. And I know as a group of guys in there in an organization, we take a lot of pride in that, and we're very fortunate for all the support we have.
Well, the Cardiff Devils take on the Belfast Giants, 6 p.m. face-off on Sunday. Tickets at cardiffdevils.com. If you really can't make it on that night, you can catch tickets for the webcast at IceTime.TV. Follow IceTime.TV on Twitter as well. Go well on the weekend, Andrew.
Here we go.